Just how homes have locks, fences, and alarms, organizations have layers of protection too. Welcome to Cybersecurity Dojo. My name's Dave, and in this video, we're breaking down what security controls are, the different types, and how they help defend against everything from hackers to human error. Let's get into it. So what are security controls? Security controls are safeguards or countermeasures put in place to reduce risk. Their job is to protect your systems, data, and people from threats. Whether that's an attacker trying to break in, a malicious insider, or an accidental mistake. Think of them like layers of defense. Just like a house has locks on the door, a fence to keep out uninvited guests, or a home security system, organizations rely on things like policies, firewalls, cameras, and security training. These controls work together to reduce the chances of something going wrong or minimizing the damage if it does. Some controls are technical like encryption, others are physical like a locked server room, and some are administrative like requiring employees to take annual security training. Now that we know what security controls are, let's look at how they're categorized. Most controls fall into one of three main buckets: technical, physical, or administrative. First, let's look at technical controls, sometimes called logical controls. These use technology to protect your systems and data. Think of things like firewalls, encryption, antivirus software, or access control lists. These controls help enforce security policies and operate quietly in the background to detect or block threats. For example, a firewall acts like a digital security guard. It monitors incoming and outgoing traffic and decides what's allowed through based on a set of rules called an access control list. Encryption scrambles your data, converting it from readable text into unreadable ciphertext, and it can't be understood without the correct key. Physical controls protect the tangible parts of your environment, like buildings, rooms, and hardware. Examples include security cameras, badge access systems, locked doors, or even those really weird looking metal posts that are common in front of buildings called bollards, which are designed to stop vehicles from ramming into secure areas. Now imagine you're trying to secure a server room. A locked door with a badge reader is a very common physical control. It prevents unauthorized access and protects sensitive equipment. Last, we have administrative controls, also known as managerial controls. These involve policies, procedures, and rules that guide how people behave. This includes things like security training, incident response plans, acceptable use policies, or background checks for new hires. Administrative controls help set expectation and define responsibilities. For instance, requiring employees to take annual security awareness training is an administrative control. It helps people recognize phishing emails or avoid unsafe behaviors that could put the organization at risk. In addition to being categorized by type, technical, physical, or administrative, security controls can also be grouped by function or what they're designed to do. The most common functional controls are preventive, detective, corrective, deterrent, compensating, and recovery controls. Let's break each one down with simple examples. Let's start with preventive controls. These are controls that you put in place to stop an incident from happening in the first place. Their goal is to block unauthorized access, prevent mistakes, or stop malicious behavior before any damage occurs. Think of a password requirement that enforces complexity. It prevents users from choosing weak passwords that could be easily guessed. Firewalls and locked doors also fall under this category because they prevent unauthorized access. Detective controls don't stop attacks, but they do let you know when something suspicious is happening or has already happened. They're all about visibility and awareness. For example, security cameras might not stop someone from entering a restricted area, but they can alert you that something's happened. And in the digital world, a security information and event management system, or SIEM, that triggers alerts when unusual login activity is detected is a detective control. Corrective controls help fix a problem after it's been detected. They aim to reduce the impact or restore systems back to normal. If a system's infected with malware, using antivirus software to remove it is a corrective control, and applying a patch after a vulnerability has been exploited also falls under this category. Deterrent controls discourage attackers or bad behavior by increasing the perceived risk or consequences. If this area is under a video surveillance sign, doesn't physically stop someone from trespassing, but it might make them think twice. Things like visible warnings on login portals or penalties for policy violations serve as deterrents for bad behavior. Sometimes the ideal control isn't possible, maybe because of cost, complexity, or business needs. That's where compensating controls come in. They provide an alternative that still helps reduce risk. For example, if an application doesn't support multi-factor authentication, you might compensate by limiting access to that app through a secure VPN connection and closely monitoring user activity. Finally, we have recovery controls. They help you bounce back after an incident. These controls focus on restoring operations and minimizing downtime. Things like data backups, disaster recovery plans, and system rebuild procedures are all recovery controls. They don't prevent or detect a problem, but they help you recover quickly if something does go wrong. So let's recap. Security controls are safeguards that we put in place to protect systems, data, and people. They come in different forms. Technical or logical controls rely on technology. Physical controls protect the environment, and administrative or managerial controls shape human behavior through policies and procedures. We also looked at the functional categories, from preventative controls that stop threats before they start, to detective and corrective controls that help you respond to incidents, and even recovery and compensating controls that keep your operations resilient when things don't go as planned. Together, these layers create a defense in depth approach because no single control is perfect, but working together, they significantly reduce risk. If you found this video insightful, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.